his goddamn mansion and shit.
Yeah. All right, man. That's enough boxing. We can talk boxing some other time, man. I didn't know we were rolling in deep with the boxing and stuff, but all right, let's get into it. Let's start with some news with Facebook. So this is from The Verge. Facebook is planning to rebrand the company with a new name. Mark Zuckerberg wants to be known for building the Metaverse. Facebook is planning to change its company name next week to reflect its focus on building the Metaverse, according to a source with direct knowledge of the matter. The coming name change, which CEO Mark Zuckerberg plans to talk about at the company's annual Connect conference, could unveil sooner, is meant to signal the tech giant's ambition to be known for more of a social media and all that is ill that's entailed. The rebrand will likely position the Blue Facebook app as one of the many products under the parent company, overseeing groups like Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus, and more. Let me just scroll down to something that was really interesting. The new Facebook company name is closely guarded secret within its wall and is not known wide. A possible name could result in the horizon, but their primary focus is on virtual and augmented reality.
Of course. I got a question for you. Are they looking at opening that back up, or are they just changing the name?
Opening one back up.
Okay, so would that be a stock option, or are they just changing the name?
Oh, that's a good question.
He jumping to IPOs already.
Hey, listen, this is
he's like, I missed out on the Facebook IPO. I ain't gonna miss out again.
Well, this is what I know. I know that one thing that the augmented reality and the social media platform, the social media platform is already big. It's only going to get bigger because we've put a whole generation on social media.
Yeah.
I think we put 2 generations on social media already. So that shit is not going away. I was talking to some students the other day, and they don't really realize how addicted they are to that shit. You know what I mean? It's really becoming an addiction. And that's why I'm asking, is Facebook changing the name? Because one thing that Facebook was just talking about a few months ago, well, not actually a few weeks ago, they're under high scrutiny because of the algorithms that they're pushing to people.
You had the inside whistleblower that came out and said.
So I'm asking, are they going to change the whole name, and it's going to be the same IPO, or are they changing that? It's going to be something different, because at the end of the day, this motherfucker is like Pinky and the Brain. I don't know if you ever watched Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, a 90s cartoon. Yeah.
And the goal was to do what?
Conquer the world.
All right, so that's what Zuckerberg trying to do.
Yeah,
is
so
everybody though.
So Google.
Not everybody's trying to do it.
Bezos, Zuckerberg.
No, that's not everybody. Because I was about to ask you, are you trying to conquer the world?
Yes.
How?
Owning my own businesses.
I know what you do, but are you really trying to conquer the world?
I'm not trying to conquer the world. But
if I had the opportunity,
you're not trying to conquer the world, brother.
If I got the opportunity, absolutely.
If you have the opportunity.
But the whole thing is but the whole thing is, well, here's the thing. Everybody's got a different mindset of what, on what that might mean.
Your end game is not to conquer the world. Even if your end game is to have a conglomerate of stores and a franchise of business, it's not to conquer the world. That's not like my goal is not to conquer the world. That's not my end game. Like, I don't give a fuck about conquering the world.
Yeah, maybe not yours, but what's wrong with having high aspirations like that? Why not control the world that you live in?
Well, let me answer Smith's question real quick. So when Google released their parent company, or there was a parent company, Alphabet, they still kept their stock symbol Google. So Facebook will more likely change its name, but I'm pretty sure the stock symbol probably will remain at FB. Yeah. But back to this augmented virtual reality though, because that's what Zuckerberg is really focusing on, which is interesting. You know, I was trying to understand, like, what is the metaverse? Like, what the hell they're talking about? And like you said, Smith, they're spending a lot of time in regards of having people create this life online. Like, it's on some movie shit, some sci-fi movie shit, where they're really trying to have a big focus on having people develop these
So the
sort
full
of characters.
reality goes into this. It goes into like episodes of Black Mirror.
Yes.
The full augmented reality goes into.
Yeah, but the whole thing is,
That's
why
the
does
goal of it.
that surprise you? I mean,
No, it does.
No one's talking about being surprised. We're
Nobody
just
said
talking
it
about
was
the news.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
nobody said it was
Zuckerberg
surprise.
is saying like,
yeah, but you
this
said, what
gonna
is
be-
this metaverse? Like, you know, we're
the thing is,
No, he's just trying
when
to
you
get a
talk
better
about a
understanding
better
of what
understanding
metaverse
of
is.
metaverse, it's just like when you it's not
We know
common
a
language.
universe.
Yeah.
We know a universe, and we know.
yeah, but all right, so
Metaverse
you know,
brings now the aliens that's already out there that they were already known. And
No.
Nah, that's not what metaverse
you're
is.
taking it too far. The metaverse is
Yeah, I just looked that shit up.
Time out.
Hey, Cash asked the question, and y'all not giving him an answer. So
No, I got my
All right,
answer.
look,
What
Kel,
I'm saying
I
is,
know what the answer is, but go ahead, Kel. What's the universe?
Yeah,
ahead, bro.
metaverse is like a combination of all things online
Thank
gaming,
you.
I know
social
that.
media.
I
Thank
just
you.
Yeah.
I
That's
answered it. I
okay. I
just
didn't hear
answered.
you
Pay
answer.
attention. I said I knew what at first when I heard
Oh.
the term metaverse. I was like, "What is metaverse?" And I said, "Yo, it's virtual,
I was gonna
augmented
say, like,
reality, and virtual reality."
yeah,
As I
but
told
the
you,
whole thing
listen.
is that people don't understand what that means. They automatically assume like something out of like Star Trek, where you go in the room, and, like, you know, fake people, fake this, that, and the other. They don't
All
realize
right,
that.
so real quick,
Let's still work on that. But let me say this: y'all can go
what's the
back a few
question?
episodes. Wait, y'all can go back a few episodes. And what did I tell you? I wanted to buy my next phone when the person was outside of the phone, right? See, I'm already there because I already know that this phone right here, this phone in my hand.
Oh, so like what you talking about? A hologram?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a
I already
hologram.
know that's coming. I already know because
they did it.
They're not creating anything new.
They did it a few years back with.
It has been in existence. You understand?
Yeah,
They're
they
just
did-
going backwards and putting it in to our hands.
They did the hologram experiment a few years back with Tupac. I don't know that with Tupac and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I remember that.
They got Whitney Houston performing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm talking about to come through your phone and Cash can see his wife, and Cash and Zeus can see his wife and his son, and this nigga can see LeBron and fucking his wife. You understand? I'm talking about like that.
Like that, yeah.
It's coming. Because I told you all, they had this game called Time Warp back in 1985 that had this shit. 1985. I played.
I'll take you back 2 more steps. Go back to 1977. Star Wars came out, and when Obi-Wan Kenobi left a message on R2-D2, it was a hologram.
It came out of
I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, I don't know how practical it would be today. Like,
it's the practicality of it. That's the
I don't see how practical it would be.
I think that, but that's where this conversation is in regards to the practicality of having this being a reality today, and also that Zuckerberg is going in the direction. Like, what does this really say about civilization, where he's anticipating not only his users, but like practically all society to spend most of their time on this augmented virtual reality? Like, it's going to be like, what's that movie with,
you're living your life through the augmented reality. That shit is Black Mirror. It ain't no movie. It shit is Black Mirror, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean the Matrix?
It's everything that I live.
You mean being plugged up into the Matrix?
Yeah, you take the pill, the blue pill or the red pill. Because all this shit is not dystopian.
So like another, this is what the article also said. I wanted to plug it. It's like, while Facebook has been heavily promoting the idea of the metaverse in recent weeks, it's still not a concept that's widely understood. This is why I said, I didn't understand it when it was hitting the headlines so much. So the term was coined originally by sci-fi novelist Neil Stephenson to describe a virtual world people escape from a dystopian real world. So it's just like
dystopia. Yeah, I read it's that, bruh.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
Black Mirror episode number 3, I believe it is. It's the same shit. Listen, do art imitate life, or does life imitate art? That's always been the question. Yeah. You understand? That's always been the question, because I already see this coming.
But like before, so let me ask you a question: how bad do you think
reading and stuff? And how do you be knowing stuff? Because I already see it coming. The writing is already on the wall. You just got to read it.
So how bad you think reality is where now people are going to engage in this? Because if the genesis of the metaverse came from this novelist where you had
2050,
it's going to be that bad.
Full engagement.
Yeah. 2050 is your prediction.
2050.
Oh, that's the year? That's what, 29 years from now? How old am I going to be?
But to be like full engaged where people have certain codes on them or certain, you know, I could use my hand because my somehow I got the thing in my fingerprint and I don't need a card. I can use my hand to scan everything. It's going to be that. You know what I mean? Like we're going to get there. If you got to put the little thing behind your eyelid or in your eye, so you can get the retina scan. It's going to be that. They already have retina scan.
They already have the retina scan, and they already have the palm scan. Amazon already has that.
I like this shit don't exist, but to make it in ShopRite, to make it in Whole Foods, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make it at the parking meter. That's what I'm saying. Like to make it to change the infrastructure of the American society as a whole. Basically, to make it what it's supposed to be. To make it like, listen, you got to understand. When I was growing up, we used to look at the Jetsons, and in 2000, we expected life to be like the Jetsons. And now they got a lot of Jetson shit, microwaves and robots and shit. They got a lot of Jetson shit, laptops, and we can talk to each other like we're doing right now. They even got the moving walkways. You go to the airport, and you can get on the fucking walkway, the little thing, and it'll walk you. You don't gotta walk yourself. So there's a lot of shit that's taken, but again, I'm going to ask you all, if life imitating the art or is art imitating
As far as that augmented reality shit, maybe my view is a little false, but I can't see the average person who lives a happy life having that shit, you know, using that as a substitute.
Two things.
Like,
one, average person living a happy life is not average. And two, you said the average person living a happy life. Do you know how many people would want?
So let me scrap average person. Any person who's living a happy life. I mean, I can't get into is the average. You know, are there more people who are happy than not happy in life? Like,
I see where Kelvin's coming from.
I'm not using for me, Smith. Living in an augmented virtual reality world does not beat meeting you at a bar and hanging out with you. Like, that shit doesn't trump it.
I understand that, but once we already set the stage when we went through the pandemic and already kind of forced people to do that shit, because you got to look at what we're going through. Like, we're living this shit that we're talking about. We're not just making this shit up. We're not pulling straws out of anywhere. So we've already done that for 18 months and put people in that.
But you also had a lot of niggas who you had a lot of people, Smith, who, when given the opportunity to go back out into the real world, went back out. And you also had a lot of niggas who never even stopped going out when they was like, nigga, this is some bullshit. I don't want to be trapped in the house.
Also had the recluses that stayed in it. What I'm saying is, for you're a married man. There are a lot of people who are out here who are single and depressed. And to find somebody in an augmented reality shit, bruh.
But I think you guys are saying the same thing. I think what it really is, when I go back to the origin of the metaverse coming from this sci-fi novelist, the key word is like the term came from people ability to escape a dystopian, escape reality. So it's just like, for Facebook,
how many people do you think want to escape reality? Like,
there's a lot of people.
Can I interject?
There's a lot of people that want to escape.
Can I get a word in?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Who said this whole thing was for you? How do you know it's not? It's really for the next generation. My kid and everybody else's, like my kid's generation, next generation, that are already living this life where they're on social media and they're on video games online. To them, it'll just seem like the normal everyday thing. It's the new frontier. The whole thing is, generations before us would never have thought that, hey, you can hold a conversation on Zoom. Generations before that would have never thought you'd hold a conversation over a phone. You got to remember the fact that each generation their new reality is their new reality. Our reality of being able to have online conversation seems very normal, while somebody else might be like, well, why would y'all want to do that over some computer and talking to some microphone when you guys can meet in person? But the whole thing is, it's not the reality of our life today. And does it mean that we're any unhappier than if we actually met in person?
I don't know, Sue, because we've read a couple of books so far, and there's been a lot of clinical studies that the kids that seem to consume a lot of this online stuff has seeming to have a high level of depression and suicide.
Suicide, yeah,
but you know why? But you know why? Is because the fact of their reality doesn't conform. So this is the thing: when you're going through this transition of like, you know, the reality. So, for instance, all these girls, they always put all the filters on Instagram, this, that, and the other, to make them a little cuter, a little slimmer, or they know how to take the right angle, this, that, and the other. Then when a dude meet them, they're like, "Ooh, I got catfish. Like, you don't look like the photo." You know what I mean? So the reality don't match. But let's say we're 20 years, 30 years. You know, let's say 5 decades into the future, where you no longer even, you know, not just have to make the Instagram photos, but now BBLs are like going to the dentist. You know what I mean? Getting your face done, your teeth done, all of that shit is like gonna be the norm. I mean, it's already starting to make that transition now. So who's to say what the future is gonna hold? Maybe the virtual reality will coincide with the fake reality of reality.
But
they're gonna be.
Right, Cal.
So I guess along with that is gonna have to be some new form of technology that allows us to procreate without ever meeting anybody. Because I'm meeting you on this virtual reality. At what point do we meet in person?
Exactly, Cal.
Y'all missing the point. You don't have to ever meet in person to have that experience in virtual.
There you go.
So then how does
Let me finish. That's the part that you're really missing. I don't ever have to meet you. I only need to live in this virtual space.
And then die.
What you really got to understand. I never have to meet you. We never have to be physical. I only need to be physical in this virtual space.
Plug in.
Wait. I need you to let that sink in for a second. Because you're looking from your standpoint. You're not looking from other people's standpoints that if I'm fat and slovenly, or if I don't even give a fuck, or even if I'm not, and I'm cute, but I'm just an extrovert and I like to go out. I'm an introvert, I like to go out. You're missing the point that I'm saying. Some people, they want that to be their life.
But you know what? You're going to be divorced. Go ahead, Cal.
That brings me back to my other statement. Any person who doesn't fit into that category is not going to be rocking out with this metaverse shit.
Yes, but that's not everything's for everyone.
Yeah. Some people will get into it and see what it is. Listen, you have motherfuckers creating bitmojis and using their bitmojis as themselves, bruh. A bitmoji? You did this shit too, Henry. So
I'm not.
Now, motherfucker.
Yeah, I created that shit for my job, nigga.
I know. But listen, motherfuckers created it for their job and then took it off the workplace and started using that shit like it's them. A fucking avatar.
I personally do not know anybody who does that shit. Not saying that people don't, Smith. I'm just saying that to say. I'm just saying that to say that for every nigga who does that shit, you got niggas who don't as well.
I think to Kelvin's point,
you got more weirdos in America than you got people that's not.
I don't think, not to that extent though, Smith. I think everybody's weird in their own right. Everybody's weird in their own way, but not to that extent. The point where,
listen, and everybody want to be loved and everybody want a friend, Henry. You're missing a point because you're married. You know what I mean?
Man, but friendship don't got nothing to do with marriage.
Listen. You have so many
Smith,
people.
Before I was married, if I wasn't married, I wouldn't be living in the metaverse. Like, I'd still.
You don't even know what the metaverse is. This shit don't exist yet.
I'm not living in an augmented reality.
You be living on social media.
The reason why
people do.
The reason why
you're married. Do you live on social media?
Could y'all stop arguing over one another?
Listen, because he's not listening.
He was listening. You're not letting him get a word in, Smith. Let him get a word in.
He didn't let me finish my thing.
But you never finished. You just
listen. This is my question.
Let's hear the question.
Are you on social media? That's the question.
Say that again, Smith. I'm sorry.
You're married. Are you on social media?
Like, yeah, I go on Facebook to read articles. Yes.
No,
I'm on social
Audible
media.
is not a social media platform, bro. Come on, bro. Like,
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
Playing. That's why we having a hard time.
I'm serious. Yo, I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. What am I lying about?
And do you use them regularly?
I use my Instagram page anytime that I cook something in the backyard.
Right, bro. This is a yes or no question, bro.
Yes.
You're making it something else. You're trying to make it you're trying to make it a description, and I'm trying to tell you that you are different than other people out here that's living, that's single.
That's okay. So Smith, do you? All right, Smith. So do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, I do.
Do you use it regularly?
No, I do not.
Are you married?
No, I am not.
That defeats your whole argument, bro.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Smith, you
Instagram on a regular basis. Voice said just wrap this up.
I never use Facebook because I'm not beaten to that whole.
All right.
Fellas, like y'all need to fall back.
I'm not into the bullshit job of having Facebook.
Stop. Y'all need to fall back because y'all making two different arguments. I hear what Kel's saying, hear what Smith's saying. Honestly, Smith, you are contradicting yourself because you did say to Kel the reason he's not into the virtual thing is because he's married. And then he did prove the fact that you are single, but you're not all into social media like that.
That's he didn't do that. And let me say that.
That was the point that you made to him. Hold on, stop. Before you respond.
He asked about one platform.
You got 2 years.
About one platform. We're talking about the internet, and he asked about one platform. That's not fair. You know that's not fair. So you can
make your argument clear and concise.
He asked about one platform.
Okay, but you didn't say how many platforms.
No, I asked him about. He said he was on.
Well, hold on. Let's move on to the next.
He asked me about Facebook. I said, "Wait, let me finish." I said, "You know, I'm not on Facebook like that because I've never been because I'm not into that Facebook Zuckerberg thing." I said, "But I'm on Instagram." He didn't.
Mark Zuckerberg owns Instagram, bro.
Media that I'm on.
Mark Zuckerberg owns Instagram.
Listen, I'm not on Facebook.
All right, to wrap this up, Black Zeus is right. This is for the next generation. Kelvin is right to some regards. I think people of our age will not be entertaining the metaverse when it's in its full, completion. And I'm more so interested in regards to human interactions in real life when this all goes down. Are we going to be on some demolition, man, where
we're gonna be too
old. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you were thinking the same thing, right?
I was thinking exactly. When he was talking about procreation, I was like, yeah, you just go to a lab. We already doing that. You know what I mean? You got chicks talking about, I don't need a man. I just go get some sperm at the bank.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm unfortunately, hopefully, I'm off this planet when it's all said and done. It is what it is.
Last bit of off the planet by then, bro. Go ahead.
The last bit of news, since we are always constantly talking about the state of colleges and education, this is from NJ.com. New Jersey College say it may shut down if it doesn't get financial help. Officials at Bloomfield College, one of New Jersey's oldest and most historic private colleges, a 4-year college in Essex County, says that this might be its last year without financial overall or partnership with another college. In a frank plea for help, they asked potential donors and partners for contact. Enrollment has been falling over the last decade, and the coronavirus pandemic has further strained campus finances. School said the college, which enrolled 1,500 students last year, primarily serves low-income minority first-generation college students. Let me just get a quote. The resulting financial challenges may have only been exacerbated by the pandemic, and Bloomfield is not the only one. Many private liberal arts colleges in the Northeast and across countries face similar challenges. Interesting enough, they named Drew University, my college institution. The enrollment currently is 51% Black, 31% Hispanic.
Time out. Who's got all that background going on?
Henry. Dogs and shit. That's Henry with all that background noise.
Stop moving to see if it was really me.
Yeah, what is it?
Let me just wrap this up.
I thought I muted myself.
Hey, Black Zeus. Hey, Black Zeus. I was trying to figure out. It sounded like, yeah. Thank you, Black Zeus. Because I'm the grab in my head. I'm like, I'm trying to.
Good catch though, because I kind of heard about.
I thought I muted myself. I'm sorry. My mistake.
The school enrollment currently is 51% Black, 31% Hispanic and Latino, where the student body is primarily 63% female. The school tuition currently is $30,000 a year. Once room and board are added in, is at $43,000. So what do we think of our very own college institution in our backyard claiming to be shut down, and also quite possibly other liberal arts institutions across the nation as well?
All right, I got two takes, and I want to come back. I'm gonna let somebody else jump in. So my first take is stop making college 4 years, make that shit 2 years. Stop making it so expensive. Stop giving people Mickey Mouse courses. Stop having people do the bullshit jobs, so to speak. We don't need to be in college for 4 years. The same way that we don't need to be at work for 40 hours a week. You know what I mean? We can get that degree in a 2-year time frame if we focus on what we are focusing on. The job that we are going to school for. If I'm going to school to be a doctor, and that's my primary goal. I don't need to take all this other bullshit because I'm going there to be a doctor. You understand? I don't need all that other stuff. I don't need to be a well-rounded person. I don't give a damn about all that. Let me do that on my own time. I'm going to be this doctor. But at any rate, that's my first point. And I think that Bloomfield College has been around since 18.
Yeah, 1860s.
1860s, right?
Yeah.
So, stop paying these motherfuckers so much money, man. Because all these schools are always talking about they going broke. But I know that tuition is funny to say this. So the four of us go to Bloomfield College, right? We've all paid our tuition for Bloomfield College, and other people have too. And we've gotten in debt paying for this degree, right? And I got the whole part where you piggybacked at the end. You said, well, it's like impoverished students going there. And listen, even when an impoverished student go, it gets paid for. Mm-hmm. Impoverished students don't go to school for free. So that sounds good, but motherfuckers ain't going for free. Either somebody is putting up a scholarship or that shit is still getting paid somehow. So I just think that they need to reevaluate the college system in America as a whole. Bloomfield College needs to stop playing them games. My cousin graduated from Bloomfield College. And then you said it was 63 or 68% females.
63% female student body.
Where's all that female talk now? Like, where's all that female talk? I think we had this conversation before where it was one of the schools, St. Mary's.
Well, no, my alma mater, St. Benedict. St. Benedict's and St. Benedictine.
St. Benedictine.
Yeah.
So we had this conversation. Now you got this St. Benedictine, these girls, all of a sudden, but they got all these girls that's prominent and everything that's going through these schools. I ain't trying to get Black Zeus to rise up anything, but they got all these girls going through these prominent schools, and now it's 63%, and y'all ain't got the money. Your alumni is not giving back, and y'all don't know how to find any money. Like I just think this is smack in the face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you. That shit ain't got no bearing on me. If that shit close, it close.
Yeah.
Like, that's my honest opinion about it. Schools are too expensive.
Black Zeus, Henry?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll say that a part of that issue may just have to do with the BS jobs. If they really delve deeper into the colleges, broke down, who's doing what, they might realize, okay, we may not need to employ as many people. And as a result, they may not need as much money for that tuition. I don't really want to reiterate Smith's points as far as making it shorter, but that might be something they could look at too and be able to cut down.
Interesting.
That's all I got for you.
Black Zeus, you wrap this up. I'm not going to even give my input on this.
Wow, there's a lot. I'm actually surprised at Smith's point of view, because I remember having this discussion a while back about education, how we got too many things that are unnecessary in our educational system. And I remember Smith saying to me, like, well, what you're going to cut out. And I remember talking about things like extra languages and art and this, that, and the other. If the student doesn't show interest in that, why are we doing that? And I remember the argument was to make them a better rounded person, and if they're not exposed to it, and all of those other things. So I'm actually kind of surprised at Smith's.
That's the elementary level.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Level. So you can see where the student wants to fall.
But here's the thing. At the elementary level, even at the elementary level, certain kids show an interest in things, regardless. Like I remember I was big in art because I love to draw, this, that, and the other. So I was one of the students I was one of the few students in the art class that was really there for the art class. They didn't take it as a Mickey Mouse course. I mean, I took it seriously, but a lot of students didn't. Part of their
elementary school.
Yes, elementary school.
Let's wrap up Black Zeus point so we get into the book.
Okay, so my whole thing is that I agree, that the education system is way too expensive, because administration is very top heavy, and I'm seeing that in the public as well as the private sector. Is that they're very top heavy when it comes to these educational systems, and I don't see that we're producing any better than we produce with less administration, during my generation. So like I don't understand their logic and the reasoning behind that shit. But at the same token, I will admit that I'm in the same boat with Smith. One college institution closing down does not take any hairs off my back, because my whole thing is those kids, if they're educated enough and they're knowledgeable enough and they're good at what they do, they'll get into another school.
I love the fact that all three of you guys made reference to bullshit jobs, which is a nice segue into this book. So let's get into it.